we're going to talk about India, China, and Japan today,
Yes.
because we've spoken a lot about Western religions, and I noticed, um, when I said that, hey, the Muslims have got um, their prayer, which is amazing to say in a way, because they pray at set times, like when the sun is going down. Um, so every position around the world, at the moment the sun is going down at sunset, somebody is praying towards the central position of our world, the central land position.
Right.
Yes. So the thing is, now somebody commented something to do with Hinduism. Yes, because the thing is, people are people. People are nice. Yes, people are nice. Everybody's praying, so everybody's prayer is special and important. But because I grew up in England, you could say my background is Christian. I've had Christian teachings. My background is Jewish. I've had Jewish teachings in school. My background is Muslim. You could say monotheistic teaching. I've got a Chinese background. I've spent a lot of time there. Yes, I've sent you a video. Let me know when you've received it. Yeah, and you could play this while I'm talking, because this will show you India, this video. Yes. So the thing is, many of us, we don't consider the other side of the world, that we don't um, um, what they believe in, and we tend to believe that we are monotheists. We believe in God, and they believe in many gods. Yes, or they are idolaters. But this is what we generally see. Have you got the video open?
Yeah, it's playing now.
It's playing. Okay, now I'm going to go through this video. This is an example, and you could turn the volume off. It's just I think it's from the BBC or somewhere. It just shows the average villagers in India before urbanization, and because still today there's many villages in India, as you will notice that the people are basically naked. Yes, and then when you fast forward and go past halfway, yeah, you'll notice these people are in the countryside. They're doing their hunting. And now when you go towards the end, 1 minute and 37 seconds, you'll notice the people are dancing. Have you come to that part?
It's playing right now, yeah. I'm skipping forward.
Yeah. About 1 minute and 30 seconds, you'll see them dancing.
Right.
And some of the women are dressed because those clothes are from the city area. But if somebody went to India 100 years ago, even the women and the men were totally naked, even their private parts, a large percentage of the people. But can you see what is going on there in the village?
Yeah, they're dancing around the fire.
Yes. Now, the main thing is many of these people, they don't have a proper language. They've got probably about 100 words that they use amongst each other. If there's 50 people in that small group, and then they don't have a language. They don't have a religion. They don't have anything. It's hard to believe. So now the thing is, what we can see 100 years ago, up to half of India's population was naked or in the countryside. Yes, and they had simple basic languages with 100 words. Now, as the Europeans went there, they got them inside Christianity or Hinduism. Now, I'll go through this with you because this is very important. Yeah, that if many people have a look at it, what do you call it? Yes, the thing is now, um, anybody who has a look, yes, this is official history. We can't find the term Hindu or Hinduism basically, or the term Hindu basically, before 1830. That is like when we can first see it. Like a few people said it, but they've said it in London, Paris, or Berlin, or Rome, or Milan. Yes, have you received that page? This information's in my books. Yeah, so nobody's heard of the word Hindu or Hinduism. Yes, and the thing is, it was used by European people. So now, at that time, the evidence shows that India was, basically a nation that was controlled or had something to do with Islam. Yes, that India's greatest historian, he's one of the greatest historians, is called Damodar Kasambi. Have you heard his name?
No.
Well, let me tell you a bit more about him. He was a mathematician. Yes, from his name, we can see he's an Indian, and many people would probably say is a Hindu by religion, but we can't prove that. Yeah. So now the thing is that Professor Anatoly Fomenko was a mathematician also from Russia. So now the thing is Damodar Kasambi. Let me send you. He's probably the greatest Indian mathematician and historian and Sanskrit scholar of the 20th century, or amongst the top 10. Damodar Kasambi. Yes. And this man is very important. Professor Anatoly Fomenko even investigated his works. And let's see what this man said. Yes. Now, this is an Indian man. You know, there's no evidence that he's Muslim, nothing to do with Muslim. Yeah. But the thing is, it's very important what he said. This is just a summary. He's written a book called The Culture and Civilization of Ancient India in Historical Outline. Yeah. He basically says India has no historical records worth the name. In India, there is only vague popular tradition. It's like if somebody says there was a fight, yeah, 50 of them came around the corner, you know, when there was 10 people, you know, things that people, you know, it's just myths, you know, anything that people are saying. We don't even have a list of kings. We don't know anything. Yeah. The only history that we can find is when the so-called Muslim history started. Yes. And then after this, and the Muslim history mysteriously started there around 1,000 years ago. Yes. So we basically, and then he basically says, yeah, I'll send it here. He says, India has no history. These are his words. Yes. So he basically says India has no history. So now the thing is, we can't find the term Hindu or Hinduism before the year 1830. So now we've got a problem. Where is Hinduism? And then when you look at the villagers, you know, it's because many people, when they go to the cities in India, they'll think, hey, these people are Hindus. They've probably been Hindus for centuries. But many of these cities didn't exist 100 years ago. More than 90% of the people lived in the villages, and in the cities, the Europeans controlled it, or there was still the Muslim north. The north was predominantly Muslim. And then the word Hinduism was basically invented by the British, French, Spanish, and the colonials. Yes. And then before then, it looks like everybody in India used to go to mosques or temples, whatever they were, or whatever a mosque was. We don't, a mosque probably was not the same 100 years ago in India. Yes. So there's these Dutch, Italian, and everybody, you know, what they wanted to do was basically divide the place and rule the place. So now one of the first people to use the word Hinduism is a guy who's a British worker who's educated by the British. That's why he could speak. He even knew Sanskrit, which Indians didn't even know. And it's well known. I'll send you a copy of India Today. You know, one of the main national journals or newspapers in India. Yes, that says something. It says Indians didn't even know Sanskrit in 1860. Basically, a few Indians, let's say, you know, imagine you're from India and you studied in Europe or somewhere, same like Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, you know, he came across the Hindu Vedas in England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, you know, the Hindu Vedas are already all around Europe. Yeah, basically around Europe in the 1860s, 70s, and 90s. And nobody in India could understand Sanskrit. Yes. And then, you know, so these, you know, these Europeans, you know, knew the meaning of Sanskrit. They translated it into many European major languages that even the major Europeans didn't even speak them. Like it's strange they're translating them to German when people in Germany couldn't even speak German properly. So there's many strange things that are going on. Like I've sent you one person there. Here's another person. This person's translating the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, Ramayana of Valmiki. You know, these books. So we've got a serious problem here. And anybody who looks at the village people will turn around and think there's no way they had Hinduism. They didn't even have a language. Yes. So the thing is, another thing is, the Vedas are the main books of Hinduism. Yes. And the Vedas can be found in two places. When I say the Vedas in two places. For example, in Europe, we've got in America, we have manuscripts and libraries. One major library is the Paris Library. Yes, in America, it's the Library of Congress. That's a major library where they keep books. And the thing is, I've sent you a list of the Vedas. And the thing is, the Vedas are found in, most of them are found in two different cities in India, in Mumbai and Varanasi. When I say Mumbai, it's far away from there in a city called Pune. Yes. So in Pune, they've got thousands of manuscripts, and Varanasi or Banarasi, where the River Ganges is. Yes. So that's where you'll find the Vedas. So now the thing is, the oldest copies of the Vedas, let me just send you. Yes, I found in these two places, and because Mumbai or Bombay is Bombay, as we call it in England, but now many people call it Mumbai. The four Indo-Aryan Rig Vedas, yes, you know, the Rig Veda, Athara Veda, they're in the Bhandarkar Oriental Institute in Pune, Maharashtra, India. It's not far from India. So now the thing is, they're supposed to be there, and then historians say that they're from around the 13th century. Yes, who knows what sort of dating methods they used. But the thing is that they're in Bhandarkar Oriental Institute. So many people don't have a look at these things. What is this institute? So now carbon dating, I'll send you a company. Here's a company. They've got many branches. I don't know where, in America or Australia, many places around the world. LabMate. So now what do they say? They say, unfortunately, they believe carbon dating. So they say carbon dating. Let's have a look. The believed amount of carbon present at the time of expiration, or the time something run out of date, is exactly what a belief, an assumption, or an estimate. You see? Yes, this is a laboratory. Imagine if you're going to take a manuscript there and say, please tell me how old this book is. Now, the thing is, it's going to be based on an estimate. And they tell you it is very difficult for scientists to know how much carbon would have originally been present. One of the ways in which they've tried to overcome this difficulty was using carbon equilibrium. But anyway, they basically say, what do you call it? It's based on an estimate. And who gives this estimate? You must provide this estimate to the laboratory. Yes? Do you know this?
Yes, I was actually aware of this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I've sent you an official company there. People can find LabMates online in case they're saying, what about carbon dating? Yeah. So the thing is, here is Professor Fomenko. Fomenko cites cases of carbon dating where objects of known age gave, you know, different dates. It's like you can take it to a laboratory. You can take a book to a laboratory and lie to them and say, this is 400 years old. And then they will find a date and show it's 1,000 years old. Yeah. But the thing is, because of your guess, they will say, okay, it's probably 500 years old. We've made a mistake because we're guessing the amount of carbon that's inside. It's just a guess. You know, I can turn around and guess and say, George Bush is 500 kilograms in weight. That's my guess. I've never seen him. Maybe he's a giant, and the television, everything's a fake. You know, we can make our own data up. Yes. So that's what they do. Well, anyway, the Bhandarkar Oriental Institute in Pune was founded in 1917 or around then. Now, who ruled India at the time? It seemed like, imagine, I normally say the Chinese because at the moment the media says, you know, China is the enemy. There's all these balloons, etc., invading Western airspace. So now the thing is, imagine the Chinese invade the United States. And then they, what do you call it? Yes, they've invaded, they've got guns, and then they open up a museum and they'll say, we will put all the American history books in this museum. They're going to put the ones that they want to put, and they're going to write the ones that they want to write. So now what they do is they open a museum and a research institute in 1917. But before that, they're having conferences of Orientalists, you know, in Paris, London, and Berlin, on deciding what history to give to the Indians, yes, what to put in these museums, etc. So now the thing is, They decided to open this as a result of the conference. They were having conferences for the Middle East, conferences for Africa, conferences for Europe, throughout the 19th century of what history is going to go where. Yes. So now the thing is, in 1911, the Simla conference, yes, they decided to open this place. So now the thing is, yes, you can find this on Wikipedia, these so-called conferences. It's like the Chinese having a conference saying, what we will do to the United States of America. They don't like us. We teach them how to like China very much in the future. So what you will do is you'll change the history. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So now the thing is, there's thousands of people involved. As you can see, there's big conferences, and they're discussing, the Rosetta Stone. This is a conference in 1873. Paris. There's a lot of people from different types of lodges, Masonic organizations. They're meeting there of what to do, and they've got people from everywhere: Iranian men, Indian men, Pakistani men, Turkish men, Arabic men. And at the time, they didn't know if somebody's going to become a Turk or a Persian or an Arab. They were just people. And then these people were assigned tasks. You will take this history over there. You will take that over there. Believe it or not, nobody checks these conferences. It's
I
worthy
can
to check
believe
these
it.
things. So,
Yeah, mhm.
yes.
Definitely
Well,
suspicious, yeah.
yeah. So now the thing is, in these conferences they actually invented to say what we're going to what they defined as this will be Arabic history, this will be Turkish history, this will be Persian history. Now at the conference of Simla in 1911, yes, let's put it here. Sir Harcourt Butler, yes, who from this conference, and what does he state here? He says, we are going to make the measures, it means the laws, to basically what we've decided here in our Oriental Studies Conference, that the people of India are going to learn these things. You understand? Practical measures for the encouragement of Oriental studies. Oh, this doesn't mean Oriental studies, it means what we've decided. Yeah, the conference to which distinguished,
Yeah.
the consensus of opinion related to necessary promoting, maintaining. So it's basically the Chinese come to America and they say, we will promote American history our way because we know the best way and the true history. Yes. So they're trying to teach people in India history. And at this time in India, nobody speaks Sanskrit. Hinduism doesn't exist. Many of the people in the villages have basic languages. The only religion that seems to be around there is, the Jesuits opened up a few churches in the 17th, 18th, 19th centuries, but they were mysteriously fighting a group of people called the Muslim Mughals or Muslim Mongols of India. Yes, which
Mm-hmm.
Anatoly Fomenko on the Mongol invasion is just a forgery. They came from Timur Lane's descendants who looked totally European in appearance, and that was the Aryan invasion. Yes, or Aryan means Aaron, the followers of Aaron. Anyway, who was Sir Spencer Harcourt Butler? He was an officer of the British Indian Civil Service in the government. He served as Lieutenant Governor of the United Provinces of British India. Yeah, so this is who he is, and he's making the laws, and he decides. So same like in China, these people they opened up universities. You can go to India today in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, in India, and there's a university there after him, Harcourt Butler Technical University. So these people have set up universities throughout India. Basically, the entire education system there was created by the Jesuits, British, French. The British are ruling, but the conferences are in Paris. Oh, yes. And the French
Mm-hmm.
and then the Jesuits set up in France. Yes. Many people don't check these things. When you put two and two together, the Jesuits set up in the 16th, 17th century in Paris, in France. So let's see who the Jesuits were. And the thing is, Damodar Kasambi, Professor Kasambi, India's greatest historian, basically says we cannot find any history apart from the Muslims. Yes, basically there is no other history there. Yes. So now the Jesuits, I'll send you an article from a Catholic organization, and they make it clear that the Jesuits were created to convert Muslims. Basically convert or die. If you're not going to be with us, then you should die. Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the Jesuits were created for that. They were created in Paris. Yes. And the strange thing is, yes, the thing is, it wasn't just India, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, everywhere. Like, for example, they invented the entire history of like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. Yes, the same things that they were doing. Yes, and the main idea of the Simla conference were at the Central Research Institute. It was an idea, it was a plan to do exactly what the French École Française d'Extrême Orient de Hanoi. Yes, what they are doing, yes, in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, in Indochina, is to do the exactly same thing in India, apply the same policy. So basically, call them British, call them French, they're actually doing the same thing. And this is basically, yes, telling these people you have to study these things. And let me show you what is in the committee, what the committee decided that's at this conference. Like the Chinese have invaded America, and they've decided that the American people have to study these things and do these things. So now they've opened up schools of Indian history. They've just opened them up, all these schools of Indian history. And this is what Damodar Kasambi studied, all this history, Professor Kasambi of India, an Indian gentleman. And he found that it's just a fraud. There is no history there. It's just vague. It's all mythology. Yes. And they invented the archaeology, and then they prepared catalogs and catalogs of manuscripts, and they developed museums, and they built up research centers that can research only what they say. It seemed like the Chinese come to the United States and say, this research center is by the People's Republic of China. You can only research what the Communist Party tells you to research. You cannot research anything else, or you will be punished according to the regulations. You see? So now the thing is, this wasn't a joke, because they're just going to shoot you and they're just going to kill you. We're talking about an army that's just invaded another country. Yes.
Right.
So now let's have a look at the Bhandara Oriental Institute, yeah, which has the most Indian manuscripts, and second is Varanasi. Let's just go through one of these centers. Now, what do we have here? There's 28,000 manuscripts here. Woohoo! Yes. 30 manuscripts of the Rig Veda. These are so valuable, and historians are going to say they're preserved, the earliest and oldest memories of the world from, the oldest history whatsoever. Right. Yes. So now the thing is, who collected these manuscripts? Remember George Butler, and I sent you information about him. He's mysteriously translating these, Vedas and all these things. So now when we go through, I'll go through the entire list. The United Nations reports us on these. For example, the 30 manuscripts of the Rig Veda at the Bhandara Oriental Institute was collected, just after the 1880s, around then, by George Butler, Franz Kielhorn, and others. These men said, we've just found these manuscripts that have been missing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and nobody has ever seen them in the world. But, oh, by the way, we're just Orientalists, and we mysteriously turned up. Yes, like when the Chinese are invading the United States, let's say, and David and Raphael, you and me, we turn up with our Chinese army, and we mysteriously find ancient American manuscripts. Wouldn't that be suspicious? Oh, so the British now have invaded and they're killing people? You know what I mean?
The Indians, they just didn't know how to look for them properly. You need the Western Orientalists, only they can find it, right? Or invent it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And so now they found all these things, and they found them on birch paper and all these things. And then they're saying the oldest of the Poon collection is from the 15th century. So even the oldest is from like the 15th century, and some historians will say 13th century. So even the 15th century is suspicious, more like they wrote these things themselves, and now they're on the UNESCO list. So who found these manuscripts? Now the thing is, the UNESCO list. I'm going to go through it. Oh, the same thing. Yeah, we can go through. You can check, the Iraqi museums, the Syrian museums, Babylon, ancient Assyria, everything. Mysteriously, almost 99% of everything was found by the British, the French, the Germans, the Italians, the Spanish, and anybody who works for them. The local people found nothing. They didn't find anything. There's something wrong here. Yeah. So it's all over the world. Now I'm going to give you a list of who found all these manuscripts, an entire list for Bandar Oriental Institute. Yeah, and the number of the so-called Hindu Veda manuscripts were found that nobody has ever seen before. Yes, nobody's heard of Hinduism before. So now there were 3,000 manuscripts, 3,118. Bloody hell, that's a bit too many. Was found by just George Butler himself. How the hell? It's like he found them in a space of 68, 70, in a space of 13 years. So in 13 years, if he's collecting 3,118 manuscripts and he traveled all India, do you know how big India is? It's as big as Western Europe. And there's no roads there at the time. So now he's just found 3,118 manuscripts divided into 13. That means, wait, let's see, 3,118 divided into 13 years. That means he found 239 manuscripts a year. Basically, he found one manuscript every 1.5 days. Can you believe this? He found an ancient manuscript every 1.5 days. This guy was Superman, man. Jesus.
Indeed, yeah.
I don't know how he did this.
It reminds me of some of these architects who built the whole district or something in a few years, right?
Yeah, and not only this, he found them at a time when there's no roads, nothing. But he mysteriously went all around India. They're saying, and he found all these manuscripts, yes. And the thing is, after he, and apart from him, there was F. Keelhorn. Then we've got R.G. Bhandarkar. Oh, he's a British employee trained by the British and the French. Then there's Peter Peterson. Sounds like a fake name. Peter Peterson found 4,600. Oh my God. Yeah, in the space of like 15 years or something, or 17 years. And then there's Kathawate. Yes, he worked for the British. These are workers. And then Bhandarkar, there's another suspicious one with the same name but different initials, S.R. Bhandarkar, either from the same family or invented names. All this history is invented. It's pretty clear that, what do you call it? Yes. Then all these manuscripts were kept by, mysteriously, they were before they went to the museum, they were all under the British and the French and the colonial administration. They were under the control of the British governor of the presidency of the United Provinces of India, called Lord Willingdon himself. Yes. So now it's clear that these things is just a joke. It's just a joke. It's like only they found them. Nobody's ever seen them for centuries. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So now, from Hinduism, we have the birth of Buddhism, Gautama, who lived in India. Now, the thing is that it will take too long to go through the story of Gautama. So, but I'll show you a few suspicious things. I'll send you a video. This is the most important Buddha in the universe throughout history. Yes, and the Buddhists say he hasn't come yet. Or many people say come, but he's invisible. Is because Buddhism has been played with. It's the Tibetan Sanskrit scholars, Sanskrit, the strange language, or is it a fake language? Play this video. What do you hear?
1 second, it's still loading.
Ah, yes.
Okay, I got it now. 1 second. I'm playing it.
What is he saying?
Namo Amida.
Oh,
what
God.
is he saying? Not autograph. He's saying Namo Amida Butsu. Yes, you can pause the video now. I'm going to make it easy for people now. Namo means name. Yes. Amida means Mida or Medi. And Butsu means or Buddha. Some people pronounce it Butu. Yes. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. He's basically saying, in the name of the Amida Buddha. Now, the thing is, this is very important in Buddhism. It's one of the major, major things in Buddhism, that people are even making modern songs. Here's one. I've sent you, you'll see a picture, people from Asia. I think they're from Vietnam. Yeah, they've sung a song called Cherry Blossoms. Namo Amida Butsu. Yes, and they're singing in English, but with that's and I think these lots are in America from Vietnam origin. Yeah. So the thing is, this is a serious thing in Buddhism. So now a serious question is, what Namo means name, Amida means Amida, Buddha, Butsu just means Buddha. What or who is the Amida Buddha? Now the thing is, you'll find many different stories, myths, legends. Now some people will complain if I say legends, because I noticed when I said legend about an Islamic story the other day, somebody complained. But because we're talking history here, and we're not talking from a religious point of view, and I don't want to mislead anybody, I'm going to say the word legend. Yes. So now that within that religion, they will say this is a fact to us. So now the thing is, what is the Amida Butsu? Yes. So now the thing is, this is very big in Japan, and we discussed Japan the other day, has its suspicious history. And many people see Buddhism as foreign in Japan, let's say, for example. So, but you can see, it's big in Japan as well. Yes. And let me just send you that Vietnam thing again. Then it will be a bit more clear. And then what? No, not this one. Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me just see. Wait, let me just see which one. Wait, let's see. Yes, that one. Let me just get it through. Yes, what you will notice is that read the small print. Yeah, it's that one. And what you will notice, this looks like the same as before, but when you get to the bottom, you'll see live performances dedicated to the Buddhist Women's Association and Buddhist Churches of America, Buddhist World Convention in San Francisco. So this is, a major thing in Buddhism. So now I sent you the other one, but now let me send you with the subtitles. That they turn around and say the name of the Mida Buddha. Yes, his name has got power. Yes, is because his name is the truth. Yes, Mida. So people say it's an to get good luck and everything, So that's why they say in the name of the Amida Buddha, or in the name of Mida Buddha. They pronounce it different in different parts of the world. Yes. So now the thing is, they say that he's the greatest Buddha ever. So now let me send you here is from a Japanese temple, Buddhist temple, and what you can see is this is from the research of Alan Watts, a British philosopher, in the 20th century, and what he tells us, and what you will find is that the Japanese, yes, and in other parts of the world, yes, the name Amida is Hamida, but many people say the word H is silent, or Hamid, yes, or Ahmed, Ahmed, yes, Hamida. So now the thing is, it cannot be ignored. Yes, the Quran, the Muslim Quran on the other side of the world, yeah, there's yes, is mysteriously talking about, yeah, saying what do you call it? Yes, is mysteriously saying that that God's chosen one, his name is called Hamid or Hamad, or however you wish to say it. Yeah, let me just find it. And in the Quran, what is he referred to as? Yeah, Ahmad or Hamad, and then they call him Muhammad today. Or basically the name Mad or Mehdi or Mita or Mat or Muhammad, that word means truth or sweet. It's like in the Bible, they translate the word Muhammad in some places to be something to do with sweet or something. Yes, because they've translated the actual word. The name Muhammad turns up in the Old Testament several times, but because the inventions of many of the Buddhist words, Hebrew words were made only in the 20th century. That's a different subject. I won't go into it here today because I'll focus on Buddhism. So now this great Buddha, yeah, he has he is like attained the complete Buddhahood. Yes, so he's like the greatest Buddha ever. Yes. So now the thing is, the strange thing is, his name is Math or Meth or Medi or Madi or Amida or something to do with this. Now the thing is, he's the greatest Buddha. Now let me tell you a few things about this guy. Yes, that I'm saying it from an American accent now. The Mida Buddha or Mahdi Buddha. Now the thing is, what they say is that this Buddha, yes, had a swastika, yes, on his chest. That the symbol of the swastika, basically, for many people, different people give different names because we're talking about several 100 million Buddhists. So the thing is, I'm not going to give a general view, but this is one major view that the swastika represents the Mida or the Mad or the Medi or the Mita. Yes. So now the swastika is in Europe. Yes. And it's in my books that I've shown that the swastika is actually used for the symbol of the Muslims called their leader, called Amida or Ahmida or Ahmed. Yes. Or Hamad. Yes. And the Japanese call him Hamad also. And the swastika in Kufic is actually used to represent Muhammad too, but also for other things, because it's up to you how you wish to use the symbol. It's a global universal system. So now the thing is, we're coming to something that you can see now in the West, in Spain, we're talking about here, on the opposite side of the old world. What we've got is the swastika on, Muslim cathedrals over there. Yes, and the thing is, it's known to, and that symbol is known to represent Muhammad. Like, let me just send you the cathedral mosque in Cordoba. Yeah, you'll see the swastika there. And in Iran, which is halfway between Tibet and Spain. So in Iran also, the swastika is being used. And some people, now in Iran, some people will say it represents Muhammad, but others will say Ali. So as we could see now, in Iran, they've got their local things as well. So now if you look at the Kufic, they will say, the swastika is meant to represent Muhammad. But then you've got these local things. So now the thing is, in different parts of Asia, they're going to say the swastika is supposed to represent the, let's see now, let me just go through Sanskrit with you, and then so that people can make no mistake. Now, the great Buddha or the greatest Buddha, he's going to be the greatest Buddha. Now, let's define this person. Yes, in simpler terms. Yes, this Buddha, yes, represented by the swastika, is the greatest of all the Buddhas. We're talking about the Buddhas in all transcendental forms or whatever. Yes, Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha Gautama, Shakyamuni or Shakyamuni declares that there's many Buddha lands or something. Yes, and Buddha Amida is the greatest of all these individuated Buddhas. However you wish to say individual, or he's the great Buddha. So now the thing is, let's go back to Sanskrit. Yes, even though these people have played around with Sanskrit. Yes, and whatever the origins are. So now we've got the great Buddha. He's called Mida. Yes, he's called Mida, and the word great in Sanskrit is Maha. So now when we can combine the words Maha, Mida, what name do we have? The great Buddha is going to be called what, Raphael?
The great truth, or the great sweetness, or something?
Let's pronounce it in Sanskrit. So now the Sanskrit word for the word great is Maha, and the name of this great Buddha, the greatest one, is Mida. So when you combine the word great, Maha, and Mida together,
The
what word do
greatest
we
of
have
the
there?
greatest of the great, or the most supreme, or something like this.
No, I'm saying in Sanskrit.
Oh, all right. Um,
It's two words we have now. Maha
Maha,
means great,
yes.
and then Amida. When you combine them together, what do we have?
The greatest truth.
I've written it for you. What word do we have?
Okay, yeah, Maha Mida. All right. Uh-huh. Oh,
Yes.
right, right.
Now the
Okay,
thing
right,
is,
right. Okay.
yes. Now we have a serious problem. Yes.
I see. Yeah.
Mahamid, Mahamed, Mahamida, Mahamat. Mida means truth or sweetness or perfection. Yes, no lies. So even in hieroglyphics, the word mad mad or medi means truth or means math.
Even
You know, the
King,
great
even
mathematics.
the story of King Midas. Don't want to divert you just because it's an obvious relation to King Midas,
Yes, of
whatever the
course it
story
is.
is. Yeah.
It's an obvious relation. But anyway, we now have a serious problem because the Muslims are claiming that the great Mida, Mahamida, is Muhammad or Mahamid. Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So now we've got a problem. What is this doing in the other side of the world? It's almost like no matter how much I try to ignore it, I can pretend it doesn't exist. But the Buddhists are going to say, no, our religion is global. It's here for humanity. Yes, and Buddha is universal. Okay, let's look universal. This great universal Buddha, is this mentioned in other civilizations? So now the Buddhists will argue and say, yes, it is. There's Mahamida, Mahomet. So now now the Buddhists, many Buddhists will say Muhammad hasn't come yet. The Muslims will say he's come. Now this is something else that we've got to look into because the history of Muhammad has been falsified by the Jesuits. Professor Flamenco has shown, which is a genuine worry because we don't really know much about this man called Muhammad. Yes, whoever or whatever he was. Yeah, when I said whatever, I mean, was he the great, the great, the greatest Buddha? Now the thing is, let's talk Chinese. Chinese is probably the biggest language in Asia, and even with the many languages, the word Buddha in Chinese is this word here. Have a look. I'll send it you in different pronunciations. I'm sending you 2 pages so that you can see the word Buddha is basically Foda, Fotoa, or Fota. Yes, I've spoken with people and said that's Fota.
That almost sounds like father in German.
Yes, well done. This is yes. So I noticed that straight away. Yes, and then the thing is, it sounds like father. Now the thing is, we all heard of Buddhist monasteries, Christian monasteries. We don't hear of Muslim monasteries. We've all heard of Buddhist monks, Christian monks. We don't hear of Muslim monks. We've all heard of the Christian priesthood, the Pope, and we've all heard of. He doesn't represent everybody, but he's the known biggest. And we've all heard of the Dalai Lama. He doesn't represent everybody, but he's the known most famous biggest. Yes. So the thing is, of course, Protestants will say definition of biggest, but historically the Pope and the Dalai Lama on the other side. Yes. So as you can see, the Eastern and Western priesthood. So now the thing is, let's go through more about Buddha. Now this is in all this information is in my books, but the thing is, this information is very important because now we've got the thing is the Sanskrit Hindu Vedas are invented. So where does Buddha fit into these Sanskrit Vedas? Yes, where will he fit into it? Yes. So now the thing is let's go through Buddhism. And the thing is, this is very important. People who've read my books will not be shocked about this. But if the audience has not read it, yes, then this will be very
I mean, you
interesting.
basically just told everybody that all modern Buddhists are like crypto Quranists or something, right?
Well, what did we see about Japan? In Japan, there's Buddhism there today, atheism, Christianity. Who said that was their religion 100 years ago? I mean, the Americans invaded, opened the doors for Buddhism to enter, and the Americans regulated what religions with their puppet authorities. Yes.
Yes.
Remember last time I sent you the
Yeah,
Japanese things?
yeah, yes.
But let me send them again, just in case, because it's very suspicious, September the 11th and the Japanese relationship with September the 11th. The Japanese leader got arrested on September the 11th, Hideki Tojo, and they turned around and said he was behind Pearl Harbor, and they said 19 ships got destroyed in Pearl Harbor, and at the same time they're telling us that what do you call it? In September the 11th, the same date that the Japanese leader got arrested after World War II, there was 19 hijackers for September the 11th Twin Towers in America. So the history is totally suspicious. And then the Japanese people that we see in World War II, they look totally suspicious. Yes, before World War II. Oh, let's see. I didn't prepare this today. I didn't think
Don't worry,
I'd
I will
bring it up.
insert it from the last video, no problem.
Yeah. But the main reason why it's important is because many people won't see the connection. And somebody will say, why am I bringing it up? I'm bringing it up because if we don't check these things, we're not going to know why they lied about history. There's something very, very big internationally
Yes.
that they're hiding something, that this is something so important that it's to do with our past and our future. Or if it was just the past, you wouldn't hide it. Yes, because there is the question that the Buddhists are saying this Mahamida hasn't come, and the Muslims are saying the Mahamida has already been and gone. Yes, so or Muhammad has been and gone. So the thing is, these things are they're serious questions. So the thing is, and the history of this Prophet Muhammad in Islam. I'm saying the word prophet so that it means the official history, to distinguish between it, the religious one that the people follow today. A lot of it has been falsified and just been invented. The man known as the Prophet Muhammad described in the Quran doesn't sound anything like, or doesn't sound like half these stories that we hear of in the so-called historical books that the British were printing in Cairo, or the French were printing in Lebanon, or the Jesuit printers in Baghdad. It's, something is totally suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, let me just see. Oh, I can't find these Japanese ones right now. You'll have to insert them.
Of course.
I thought maybe.
I still have them saved, no problem.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's totally suspicious that I wouldn't have brought it up, but I found them. It's because we're talking about a global civilization here. So the thing is, we're seeing these global buildings, and the thing is, here's Japanese soldiers. I'm guessing that's their wives, because Japan is a conservative society. It must have been even more conservative then. And then the thing is, during the wartime and before the war, the people were dressed like in these long robes, like they do in Muslim countries, and they had their heads covered. That's how they had it, and it's something totally different. And the thing is, it's totally suspicious what Japan was fighting for in World War II. They didn't want the West inside, but why didn't they want the West inside? Yeah, I found the pictures. Have you found them again? Yeah, have you received them? I've sent you 3 of them. Yeah. So the thing is, as I'm talking, I'm passing them to you. It's because I find it totally suspicious. I wouldn't have mentioned this, but the thing is, it's because the Buddhists are saying it's universal. And the thing is, we in the West, we tend to ignore it. And because that person has said, hey, the Hindus are also praying. Yes, they're nice people. They are praying. Yes. So the thing is, I've not ignored these things. These subjects are in my books. So because many people say he tends to talk about Islam as if he's preaching it. No, I'm not. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know everything myself. I'm not going to lie and pretend that I do. Yes. There's no way. I most definitely know I make mistakes, but I'm hoping that from my work that people will make further breakthroughs.
Yes, still it's
in
important to
research.
always, trace the proper genealogy and the roots if you want to understand it. And you know, just to kind of asking you to speculate, because you say properly, if they want to manipulate the past, there must be something important about the past that affects the present and the future. What would you say
Yes.
could this be?
What could this be? Now, the thing is, it's got something to do with this, Maha Mida. Yes, that for the Buddhists, they call it Maha Mida, that they've totally fabricated, Sanskrit that I'll have to go through the, because we'll run out of time. I'll have to go through the Buddhist scriptures next time, or I'll go through parts of it now. In fact, the thing is, let's have a look. So let's have a look, and I'll show you. It's like totally ridiculously suspicious that the thing is it's because the thing is, when I had a look at you know Islam around the age of 16, when I came 16 or 17 or 15, around then, I came across the Quran. So I turned around and thought, hey, this Quran says it accepts all these so-called people of God. I thought it doesn't mention the Buddha. So it's like something, it really bothered me at the time. So I thought I'd have a look at Buddhism. And I came to this conclusion independently from England, and Professor Fomenko came to the same conclusion, yes, in Russia. And not only Professor Fomenko, but many other people have made the same conclusion. Like, for example, I'm going to give these basic things about major things in Buddhism. Now, in Latin, we have the Trinitas, or the three Trinity, yes? And in Sanskrit, they have the Triratnas of the East, yes? Trinitas, Triratnas. It's basically the same thing. Yes, somebody's playing around with language. So now let's go through. The Triratna represents the three jewels of Buddhism. The Trinity, or the three parts of Buddhism. The Trinity represents the three gods in one God, or the three godheads of one God, or three different persons within one God. Yes, yes. So now the thing is, so now the thing is, I've explained what this Amida Buddha is. Yes, so now in different parts of Asia, they pronounce things differently. Like in Turkey, they say Mehmet. Yes, I've heard some Arabs say Mohammed, Mohammed, Mohammed. Some say Muhammad or Muhammad. Yes, or Muhammad or Muhammad. Yeah, Mehmed. Yeah, like this. So the thing is, now we have this guy. So the thing is, they'll say it's the Motheria, or the mother, the mother of truth, or the Maha means great, and also Ma means mother, or the Mahamedi, yes, or Mahamida, or Muhammad, or Mahamad. Like I sent you the other thing. Like let me just send this again in case some people forget as we're going through, because they'll say, they'll say, is he just inventing this? No, yeah. You can ask any Muslim. They'll say the Quran says
if people would
Muhammad.
only ask the same question about mainstream history, if they just invented this, if they want to ask about your stuff. But yeah, please go on.
Well, anyway, this is an example. Hamida, Mahamida. Yes. So now, when we look at the stories of Buddha and Jesus Christ, some people complained to me to call them legends, or call them stories. Then, yes. So now the thing is, Buddha, he died between two trees. Now he said after him is coming the Mahdi Buddha. Yes, and Jesus Christ was crucified between two wooden logs, and there's supposed to be two of the guys on them. Yeah. So the story is basically the same. Yes. For Buddha and Jesus Christ. Now have a look at this. Yeah. Now have a look at this. What we see is, when we look at mainstream Christianity, Matthew in the New Testament, so now says Jesus is the son of David. Now Buddha, his name is Jesus, his name is Esau. Yes, my books have explained it. It's a long story. I don't want to fight with people. There's no such character called Jesus in history, or Augustus, or Julius. August, July, Julius. So Jesus is Jesu. There was no letter J. It was Isa. Isa. So now the thing is, Buddha is called Buddha Isiddhartha. Yes, Buddha is a title, or means Buddha means Pota or father, Bada. Yeah, like they say, Pida, Saint Pida. Yes, yes. So the thing is, Buddha, he was what do you call it? Yes, he was the son of Devi. Yes, or a Brahmin by birth, and Jesus was the son of David. Now I've not got it typed on this page, but Devi is Devi, and in the West we say Abraham
Right.
or Abrahma or Ibrahima in is it Arabic? Yeah, and they say Brahma, Brahmin, or Brahmam. Yeah, so the thing is, and they say he was, royal blood, and so was Christ was also royal blood from the family of David. Yeah, and yeah, so these things we found very similar, and Jesus Christ was one of the children of Isaac. Yes, not Ishmael, and what do you call it? Yes, Buddhism's turn around and say that Buddha was one of the children of Shakya, or the tribe of Shak, Ishak. Oh, by the way, in Hebrew, they turn around and say Ishak. Ishak Shamir was a leader of Israel, and the Muslims say Ishak. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Muslims and modern Jews say Ishak. So he's from the Shak clan or Isaac clan. They're from the same family. Yes. So basically, they sound like the same guy to many people. Yes. It's just like in different languages, and then somebody's modified their history and their books, and just modified everything. So now let's take a look at Buddha. Yes. Now the thing is, when Buddha was born, yes, he started speaking. Yes, he was amazing. Baby that's talking. So now the thing is, there's Gnostic Gospels and the Quran, where it turns around and says that when Jesus Christ was born, he started speaking. And many people have noticed that many of the classical paintings of Jesus Christ, yes, in Europe, the baby actually looks like an adult. Yes, like someone who's speaking. Yes. It is in many of these paintings. Yes. So the thing is, what we have is that the Christmas tree. The thing is, there's no mention of a Christmas tree anywhere in Christianity. They're going to tell you that it's a pagan thing. Yeah. So now in Europe we've got the Christmas tree, and Anatoly Fomenko says Europe had the Quran 2-3 centuries ago. It was in churches. Yeah. But today, it's not there. But the thing is, the Quran says Jesus Christ was born beside a tree, and there were fruits on that tree, and the Virgin Mary, she ate the fruit. That's why, in the 19th century and early 20th century, people decorated Christmas trees with sweets and fruits. I've sent you the entire verse of the Quran from Wikipedia. So that's where the story came from. So the thing is, but if we read, even in history, they say that Christmas trees were originally, they had fruits on. Yes, and nobody seems to know why. Yeah, and but historians are going to tell you that it's just a pagan festival. And the thing is, the Christmas tree should be big for Muslims, but what are Christians doing with the Christmas tree? And historians are saying it's pregnant. So now the thing is, the Quran says Christ was born beside a tree. Yes. So now the thing is, and let's go to Buddhism. And in Buddhism, it says that Buddha Isiddhartha, he was born beside a tree. Yes. Now, because we're English, in England, people say Mary. In Italy, Maria, and some places they just say Maria. Yes, you can't hear the letter R. So now Buddha's mother is called Maya. Yes, Maya in India. So now the thing is, and Buddha was born in Lumbini. That's 2 words, Lum and Bini. Yes, remember that. So now the thing is, Buddha was he was miraculous. He was amazing. Yes, this guy. Yeah, he used to walk on water. He had all these capabilities. You know what I mean, and supernatural capabilities. Yeah. So now we have the same thing that Jesus Christ could walk on water. I mean, when you go through it, it's amazing. So now, amongst Buddha has his disciples, 10, 12 disciples. So does Jesus Christ. One of his foremost disciples, his name is Sariputra. If we translate that to English or to Italian, it would be San Putra, San Pedro. Yes. So now let's see Jesus Christ's disciples. Is there anybody with a similar name? Oh, let's have a look. Maybe there was. Let's see. So now Jesus Christ, yes. It just so happens that one of his top disciples was called San Pietro or San Pedro, Saint Peter. And on Saint Peter, the foundations of the church was built, and Peter, Pater, Father. Yes, you notice? Yes. So it comes from there. So now the thing is, I've already explained Maya and Maria, but it's in my books, but I'll just put it up for the screen so that people will notice these things, because it's not a joke. Now the thing is, okay, they spelt it Maya and Maria Mara, but many people don't pronounce the letter R. Oh, Maya, come here. It depends. If you're in Sicily, Corsica, Otranto, where are you? Yes, it depends where you are. Yes, Albania, Croatia, depending where you are. So now the thing is, everybody knows that Jesus Christ and Buddha gave their lectures. They gave important lectures. So now Buddha, he gives his lectures and he says, there is an eightfold path to enlightenment. Yes, Jesus Christ, one of his most famous sermons, the Sermon on the Mount. I remember the teacher at school, who gave us a Christian background, used to totally just bore us to death with this. The 8 beatitudes are the eight beauties for enlightenment and the Sermon of the Mount. So they're telling us the same story. So now we've got Buddha. Yes. Now we can't. We're going to have to consider international languages, not just English. Buddha was born in Lumbana or Lumbini, yes, or in the place of Lam. Now Jesus Christ, they say he was born in Bethlehem, yes. Now Bet means area or place, yeah, or house, yeah, or yeah, in an area or house of place or something. Just means, like, you could say Bet London, you could say Bet Paris, Bet New York. So Jesus Christ is born in Bethlehem. We say Bethlehem in English, but he was born in Bethlehem or Lum. He was born in the place of Lum. So was Buddha. They're born in the same place. So now let's go through Buddha's, more of his disciples. The names are very suspicious. That if anybody knows how the Greek Gospels are written, now Buddha's disciples, we've got Aniruddha, yes, Aniruddha, and then Jesus Christ has got Aniduru, and Aniruddha. They're the same names, by the way, that if anybody knows how Greek is written, yes, the syllables between Greek and Sanskrit are interchangeable when you translate and you modify things. So now the thing is, now they turn around and say that the Virgin Mary was impregnated by the Holy Spirit. Yes, I'm using these words because, it's something that difficult to describe. Yes, so now the Virgin Mary was impregnated by the Holy Spirit. Christianity says, I think Islam says that God commanded it, and it just happened. And now, according to Buddhism, Maya was also a virgin, and according to Christianity, Maria, the mother of Jesus, was also a virgin. No, Maya was not a virgin. They're not sure. It turned around and says that she didn't have sex and she gave birth to Buddha. It was a miracle. And they say that an elephant impregnated her. Yeah, that's another long story.
Oh my God.
It's a long story. It sounds like a joke, but actually, let me go through it. Yeah, if anybody doesn't know, it's because I didn't want to go through this, but I'm going. I'll do it because the thing is, at first, you know, when you look, when one looks at India and the forgery of history there, then what happens is that you seem to once you have a look, you seem to get the message. Now, the thing is, let me send you a picture of this so-called elephant. I'm just looking. Wait, let me send it you. And the thing is, she was impregnated by an elephant. So now the thing is, yeah, here is an elephant with its ears. And now the thing is, the viewers, anyone who's listening is going to have to use their imagination. So the thing is, they say that you know, it was a miracle she was born, and it says that the elephant impregnated her. When you look at an elephant, and there's in Hinduism and Buddhism, they have this elephant. You know, it's there. It's like it looks like the private parts of a man. That's all. Simple. I'm sure people have got the message. So that's what it basically is. So now Jesus Christ, it turned around and says in Corinthians that Jesus Christ and that he has 500 witnesses. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Yeah. You know, Jesus Christ has 500 witnesses. Yes. And basically 500 disciples, you know, when he rose from the dead. So now let's have a look at this. You know, Buddha also, yes, had 500, you know, they use the Indian word arhats or disciples. The 500 disciples of Buddha are very famous. Yeah, and you'll find many places in around the world that follow Buddhism that have duplicated 500 statues of Buddha. So now the thing is, we have the Buddhist cross of the East, which is a swastika. Yeah, it's still a cross. Yes. And then we have the Christian cross of the West. And we've got the leader there. They have a priesthood, yes, called the Dalai Lama. And then in the West, we've got a priesthood for Christianity, even though not everybody follows these priests. But we've got the cross of the West, and we've got the priest there. So the more one goes through this, people find all these similarities. Yes, as you can see, have you received the pictures? Yeah. So the thing is, when we go through these things, we begin to realize that there's something suspicious going on, and the reason why I mentioned it is because the reason why I mentioned the great Buddha Muhammad or Mahamedi or Mahamud, it's like in Buddhism. In India, they spell it Mahamud Galyayanam. There was one of these characters, Galyayanam. Let's just see. It's because the thing is, I mentioned this to what's his name, Andreas, in a long time ago. Galyayanam. So the thing is, it's very suspicious that I've forgotten how to spell it. But Buddha's disciples, or one of his followers, was called Mahamud. Yes. So the thing is, how this name is pronounced is up to you. But it's very suspicious that the greatest Buddha is called Maha in Sanskrit, and then Mahamud. Mahamud in India. In India, they say Mahamad Galyayanan was one of his disciples, so it's pronounced Mahamud over there, or Mahamud, or Mahamed, or Mahamida. So this is a very serious thing that people are going to have to consider, and they're going to have to investigate. Yes, have we got that? Raphael, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. The last one I got is the Pope.
The Pope?
Yeah.
Oh no. There's no more pictures. I'm saying. So
right.
Have you? Yeah. Have you basically understood
right.
this thing? Yes. So now we have genuine problems to do with Hinduism and Sanskrit. Yes. And the thing is, there's decent people there, and the thing is, we're going to have to get to the bottom of world history. We don't have original Sanskrit documents for Hinduism, and Buddhism evolved out of Hinduism. It came, according to official history, it came from India. But what we can clearly see is that the character of Buddha has been totally invented. Buddha is Siddhartha. Yes, it's totally been invented. It's actually the same character as Jesus Christ, and the character of Jesus Christos has been invented because his name is just Esau. This is in my books, in The Last Crusade, but the thing is, I'll send you the information again because in case some people dispute it, because there is no character in history called what's his name? We can't find a character in history that's called Jesus. Yeah. So let me send you this. Like official historians accept this. The letter J was added to the Latin alphabet in the 16th, 17th century, but nobody started using this letter J until like the mid 18th century, and even then it started becoming only widely used in the late half of the 19th century. We're talking after the 1860s. So this means that before then there was no person called Jesus. It was Jesus in Greek and Latin, but then you're saying Augustus, Julius, Raphaelus, Davidus. Yes. So his name is not Jesus, it's just Esau. And the thing is, this can be seen in some of the old organizations like these, the Jesuits, their name in before they invented the letter J and all these other things. The Jesuits are called Societas Esau, and they're called the Society of Esau. And the Quran says that what do you call it? That this man was called Esau, and it says that basically the Muslims say nobody called Jesus Christ existed, no such name, that the name has been invented. And in the same way, we cannot find a person that's called Buddha is Siddhartha. Yes, we cannot find such a person in history. That it's worrying that we've got hundreds of millions of people in the other side of the world, and we cannot find the existence of Buddha is Siddhartha, and we cannot find the existence of Jesus Christ. Yes, but the Quran is saying that there was this gentleman, yes, who did these miraculous things, who spoke when he was a baby, who was born beside a tree with fruits, and his name was Esau. Yes, and I've even put it there that in the Old Testament that some people have spelt it Osea. They've spelt it in different ways, but basically the name of Jesus was Esau. Yes, so the thing is, we have this serious problem, and then the Jesuits once again are very suspicious. We cannot ignore them because the Jesuits are opening up these universities, and they're part of the organization that's putting this history in India. Yes, in India and in China, they opened up the Jesuit schools and everything. So now we've got to ask ourselves, yes, who the hell these Jesuits are? And we can't ignore it when they turned around and clearly said that their objective was to convert Muslims or they can die. In them days it was convert or die. Let me just send you this thing again about the Jesuits. So now the thing is, yes, what were these Jesuit organizations doing in India and China if those places weren't Muslim anyway? Or what were the Jesuits doing going to Japan? They went to Japan in the 16th century, 17th century as well. They were in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, United States of America, Canada. But their mission, their specific mission is to convert Muslims. There's thousands of these Jesuits, and they seem to be, for their time, at that time, this organization is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. We're not talking millions here. We're talking billions of dollars they had at their disposal. Yes. So the thing is, this is something that we cannot ignore. And the thing is, Japan is suspicious as hell for what they were doing before World War II. Their history is suspicious. That the thing is, we don't seem to find Buddhism widespread there or Christianity before before World War II, and the people are mysteriously dressed like what we would say is in the old world order, or what people would say like Muslims today. And let me just send this thing again so that people can have a look at the Jesuits in case they think I've made it up. You know, it's their plans were to convert Muslims. History.com, Jesuits, they made plans to convert Muslims. So it seemed like saying, you know, if my job is to teach, if my job is to teach people Chinese, yes, in England, then of course my students will not be Chinese, yes, because I'm teaching Chinese, yes. So you know, I'm teaching Chinese, so they're looking to convert Muslims. So what the hell were the Jesuits doing in Japan? You know, what the hell were they doing in you know, in India? What the hell were they doing in you know, Canada, United States? So these things are very suspicious, you know, and people don't consider it, but it's very important to consider it because we cannot ignore the other side of the world. It was it's a very important statement that the other person said, that the Indians and the Hindus and the Buddhists are praying. Yes, they are praying. So now we have to go through their core documents, and the core documents show that there's something strange going on with these documents. That the British mysteriously found all these documents, you know, and nobody in India could even read or speak Sanskrit. You know, so we've got a serious problem. Or the Europeans already knew how to speak Sanskrit, and they've already translated and published the Sanskrit books, even before the Indians start learning them in the 20th century. Can you imagine right now I turn around and say, this is the history of the Americans. The language of the American original boxes are Chinese. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking Chinese before the Americans do. Oh, but then I control all the schools and I change the language from English to Chinese. So, but then I've told everybody these are your ancient books. Yeah. Now, so, after 500 years' time, somebody might believe it and say, United States of America is a Chinese nation. People have spoke Chinese there for thousands of years, and these Chinese manuscripts are American. So this is what they've done over there. That when we go to the east, we've got manuscripts there that nobody can speak this language. And then once again, yes, the Indian villagers. That video is mind blowing. It's like the first video that I sent you of India. It's like I played it again and again because I've been to many villages. I've noticed many of these people, even today, India is full of poverty. You know, so is China. Both these places are full of poverty, and many of these people, they don't have Buddhism in China, and they don't have Hinduism. That you'll see that the languages they have are you can't even define them as languages. Yes, what many people have in these villages. So the thing is, these things are very important. Do you remember the first video that I sent?
Yes, yes.
You still have
Yeah,
that?
and I know of the
You still
stories
have
in
that?
terms of many villages. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, when we look at India now, let me send you a picture of India so that people can see it. Yeah, that they can see what India was 100 years ago. That even 100 years ago, that when people were taking photographs, in the photographs, we can see from photographic evidence that India was something else. Yes, and the only religion that we can actually find there is that the Jesuits have invaded with their Inquisitions and Christianity. But the only religion that was already existing over there before the Europeans arrived was the Muslims. And this is what Damodar Kasambi has pointed out. Now, let me show you a photograph of South India in 1900 to 1930. Today, there's Christians there. Now, people will say, oh, they've been Christian for centuries. But anybody who has a look, they'll see what the Jesuits did there, and with the languages and the modifications, they'll be able to trace the origin of many of these schools and the orphanages that the Jesuits opened up. Now you'll see in this picture of India that I've just sent you that many of the people are basically naked. They've got white cloth there that's cotton. Now, if you notice, these people are naked, and the way they're living, and I'm not sure what they're doing. Yeah, there's a plastic bottle at the bottom. I doubt that was made by them. It must have been made by machinery. And the thing is, somebody there is doing some sort of work there. I doubt they've got the capability to manufacture this cotton. These people definitely don't. So this cotton was given to them by somebody else. Same like in the first video that I sent, the women who were dancing. You can see that in the dancing, what is it? In the dancing, that you can see that the women are wearing what is called saris today, and those saris, the same like this cotton, it's made by machinery. And then, as you can see, the way the women have wrapped the cloth around their body, this is the origin of the sari. It's not many centuries old, like they're claiming. Yes. So the thing is, how did these people end up naked? Something must have happened to India in the last 200 years or something, or 300 years, same like the rest of the world, that we can't seem to figure out. Something happened. Yes, we can't figure it out because on purpose, the people in power have hidden this history that they just don't want us to know. Yes, they've hidden this history and they're telling us, you know, they're telling us, you know, this is the original history. Well, of course, if you're going to hide something, then you know, people will believe these things. But let me just show you, for example, now many people are talking about these things, but in India, and they think these are amazing places. But I'll send you, for example, there's Mohenjo-daro. Oh, that video, I forgot. It didn't. I've sent it you again, just in case. You can play it in the background while I was talking all that time.
Yeah, and
so
just
that people
because
can see.
I have the next meeting coming up soon, maybe let's wind it down for today, and we can
Yeah.
restart again soon.
Okay. Yeah, let's wind it down. But anyway, the thing is, they falsified the history of Asia. And it looks like there is no character called Buddha. It's actually Jesus Christ. Or there is no character called Jesus. It's actually Phota or Buddha. It's the same person. Yes. And the great Buddha, the Mahamida, or Muhammad or Muhammad, is something to do with this character called Muhammad that we call in English Muhammad, or what the Muslims call Muhammad. Or Mat means maths. I explained that in a previous video. So we have a genuine problem here that we won't be able to get through to the bottom of the East and the West without investigating what's in the middle. This is going to be impossible. So it's because many people have said, why does David focus on this? It's because the thing is, the Jesuits and everybody else, the world order has taken control of the East and the West. And in the middle, we see there's all these type of fighting and everything that they seem to be resisting some type of global order, and they're rejecting global history. All over the world, we don't hear the Chinese who are going to reject world history. They'll say, oh, yeah, this is history. Yeah. But people have their certain disputes in local, regional things. But then we've got these Muslims with their Quran who are totally out, blatantly rejecting world history and saying that there is an international conspiracy. The Quran is saying that there is a global conspiracy, you know, to hide the truth, whatever this truth is. And of course, as we can see, that there's something really suspicious here. Now, the thing is, I'm not preaching or anything. I'm just saying, if we don't investigate, we will not get to the bottom of these Eastern religions and the Western religions. We're not going to get to the bottom of what's going on. We are not going to understand. So let's leave it at that as the final word. Yes?
Perfect. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah. Okay. You have a great evening.
Thanks,
Okay,
you too. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.